Hello student, last time we have already considered hydrogen spectrum, origin of spectral line. Today we are going to discuss Frank-Hertz experiment. Before studying the Frank-Hertz experiment, we know from the early spectroscopic work, it is clear that atom emits a radiation of discrete frequencies. Means atom possess discrete energy levels, or we maybe call it as a energies are quantized. Again, according to the Bohr model, radiation frequency mu is related by, if suppose energy level is E1 and another energy level say E2, and here is a radiation takes place and its frequency is supposed to say mu, then this frequency is related to this energy difference, that del E is equal to, here is E2 minus E1, that must be equal to h mu according to Bohr model. Means energy is related to the frequency is related to the difference of energy. Okay, then it is then expected that transfer of energy from electron to atom, that must be in the form of discrete amount of energy, whatever it be the type of the mechanism. One such mechanism today we are going to discuss, inelastic collision. With the help of that inelastic collision, how energy is transferred from electron to atom, that we are going to study in Frank-Hertz experiment. Frank and Hertz performed the experiment in 1914 after the proposal of Bohr's atomic model. After performing the experiment, Frank and Hertz, they demonstrate within the atom discrete energy levels do exist, and that energy levels must be equal to that is suggested by the spectrum, means observed spectrum. Again, Frank and Hertz supports to the Bohr's atomic model. Okay, let us now study Frank-Hertz experiment. In this experiment, the first point, experimental setup. Within this experimental setup, here is a vacuum tube is used. We call it as a glass tube. Within that vacuum tube, mercury vapors are present. Mercury vapors are present at low pressure. In addition to this, number of electrodes are used. Here is a anode, or we maybe call it as a collector. This is grid. Again, this is a grid. This is cathode, and this is actually the filament. Filament is heated by using the low tension battery. Between the cathode and grid G1, voltage is set and it is fixed. That value is 1.5 volt. Again, between the Z2, grid Z2 and cathode, variable voltage is used, and that voltage is varied from 0 to 60 volt. In addition to this, anode is maintained at negative potential, slightly negative potential. I am going to tell it later on why it is at negative potential, and that voltage is near about 0 to 5 volt. This is actually the experimental arrangement. How actually the experiment is performed? For performing this experiment, voltage between cathode and grid Z1 is fixed. It is 1.5 volt. Voltage between the anode and grid Z2, it is again fixed. That value is 0.5 volt. Here is the millimeter is used to measure the current, and this voltage is varied. Here is the two important parameter: voltage V Z2K, that voltage is varied, and for this varying voltage, current flowing through the circuit, or we maybe call it as a collector current, is recorded. What's the observation? This is experimental setup, and for this experimental setup, change the value of V2K and record the value of current. But before measuring this value, what is actually the basic principle we used within this experiment? The basic principle is elastic and inelastic collision. Here is the what is meant by the elastic collision. Elastic collision. When we consider, suppose this is the electron and suppose this is actually the atom. We call, suppose this is the atom. Mercury atom. Here is the mercury vapor is present at low pressure. When the collision between this atom and electron takes place, collision between this atom and electron takes place. And if suppose before collision the electron energy is in such a manner that after collision that electron energy remains the same, at that time we can say that is a elastic collision. It means that during elastic collision there is no loss of energy. Means in elastic collision it only changes its direction, but energy before collision and energy after collision remain the same. Such type of collision we call it as a elastic collision. Remember that. Means in case of elastic collision for electron and atom, when they collide, atom is very large as compared to the electron. That's why the direction of the electron is only changed. Its speed cannot be changed. It means that its kinetic energy remains the same. This is the concept of elastic collision. What about the inelastic collision? Inelastic collision. For inelastic collision point of view, when we consider the atom, within that atom here is the nucleus, first orbit, second orbit, and suppose the electron is present within that atom, and suppose this is actually the electron. When the collision between this electron and atom takes place, and if the energy of this electron, if it is equal to the difference of these two energy, they suppose this is energy level is E1 and suppose this energy level is E2. If the energy of the electron if it is equal to difference of these two energy, at that time what will happen? The energy of this electron is transferred to the atom. And when it is transferred to the atom, at that time that electron jumps from ground state to the next state, and we call it as the excited state. It means that energy of that electron is totally lost. As good as the energy of that electron is zero, such type we call it as an inelastic collision. Once again I am going to repeat. In case of inelastic collision, if the energy of that electron, if it is equal to difference of these two energy levels, at that time the energy of this is electron transferred to the atom. That energy is absorbed by this electron, and that electron jumps to the higher orbit. What will happen? At that time the energy of this electron is zero, as good as zero, means its kinetic energy is zero. It cannot further move. This is actually the concept. And we are familiar with electron remains in excited state only for a time 10 raised to minus 8 second. After that it comes back to the ground state, and at that time emits the radiation. This is actually the concept of inelastic collision, and this is actually the elastic collision. Remember this is very important point, elastic and inelastic collision. In elastic collision, there is no loss of electron, only its direction change, energy before and after is same. But in case of inelastic collision, energy of the electron is transferred to the atom, and kinetic energy of the electron becomes zero. And due to that energy, the electron in atom jumps into the higher orbit in excited state, and it comes back to the ground state after a time 10 raised to minus 8 second. Okay, after this, how actually the experiment is performed and what will happen? In this experiment, this voltage is fixed, this voltage we call it as a retarding potential, and this voltage can be varied. When we vary this voltage from 0 to that is actually the 60 volt, measure the corresponding current. What will happen? Means here is actually the study of current flowing through the circuit is a function of the accelerating voltage between the grid, that is grid and cathode. And what is actually the nature of the curve? Nature of the curve, this is actually the accelerating voltage V G2K in terms of volt, and air is a current in terms of milliampere. Nature of the curve in this manner. Nature of the curve in this manner. This is actually the nature of the curve. I am going to explain why this is. How actually the experiment works. This is actually the system. We call it as an electron gun. What is the role of the electron gun? To emit the electron. Here is the heated filament. Due to the heat supplied by that heated filament to the cathode, it emits the electron. It emits the electrons. Electrons are emitted. Electrons are emitted by this cathode. Then why this particular grid is used? That is at positive potential. Here is the number of electrons are emitted by this cathode due to the heat of the filament, and number of electrons are emitted, no doubt, but all the electrons cannot possess the same kinetic energy. Number of electrons are emitted with different kinetic energy. Electron on the surface possess maximum kinetic energy as compared to the other electrons. Okay, number of electrons are emitted. Why here is this grid is used? G1. The grid is at positive potential. Grid is nothing but a wire mesh through which electron pass. Grid is nothing but a wire mesh through which the electron pass. Number of electrons are emitted, and if suppose the grid is absent, when the number of electrons are emitted, here is the number of electrons are collected. And when the number of electrons are collected, at that time, page charge form. And if the number of electrons are collected here, at that time what will happen? These number of electrons repels the next electron emitted. And to avoid this page charge effect, this grid is used. Means electrons are emitted, grid accelerated it and passed through it immediately. Means there is no accumulation of the electron in this region, and electrons are passed. These electrons are passes through this. Here is the number of, here is the atoms of the mercury vapor, and they pass through this. And when this electron comes up to this point, what will happen? Here is the negative potential. This negative potential, and here is the electron again negative charge. Negative repulsion. What will happen? Means up to the 0.5 volt, when this Vg2k, if it is up to 0.5 volt, because this voltage oppose this electron, means the electron cannot pass by, that is grid G2, and current cannot be flowing through this. And that's why up to this point, here is actually the current is 0. Up to 0.5 volt, current is 0. But if this voltage, we call it as accelerating voltage. What is the role of this voltage? To accelerate the electron, to increase the speed of the electron. And when this voltage is greater than 0.5 volt, at that time, the electron passes through this, acquires a more kinetic energy, and the energy possessed by this kinetic energy, if it is sufficient to overcome this retarding potential, then that electron pass through this and current flowing through this circuit, and that current is noted. Means then that is actually this from 0.5 to up to, that is actually the 4.8 volt. What will happen? Up to 4.8 volt, that is voltage increased, kinetic energy of the electron increases, and kinetic energy of the electron increases, again that accelerated by this actually this anode, and again flowing through this circuit, and current increases up to this point, up to the 4.8 volt. But at 4.9 volt, what will happen? At 4.9 volt. At 4.9 volt means up to the 4.8 volt, when the electron is passes through this actually the mercury vapor, there is a elastic collision between the electron and mercury vapor. And due to elastic collision, no loss of kinetic energy. That's why that electron reaches up to the anode and flowing through the circuit, and current increases. This is the situation. But after that, what will happen? At 4.9 volt, the energy acquired by the electron, the energy acquired by, kinetic energy acquired by the electron must be equal to charge multiplied by voltage. Charge means charge on electron, and V here is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19, and volt is 4.9 volt. Means this is actually the energy. But when we convert this energy into the electron volt, 1.6, that value must be equal to 1.6 10 raised to minus 19, 4.9 divided by 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19, that cancel, that must be equal to 4.9 electron volt. Energy gained by the electron, that is 4.9 electron volt at this voltage. Means at voltage 4.9 volt, energy acquired by it 4.9 electron volt. This is the amount of energy. And you remember that at this energy what will happen? At this energy, inelastic collision takes place between the electron and mercury vapor. And due to inelastic collision, energy of the electron is lost. It is transferred to the mercury atom and energy of that electron stop. That is 0. And when the energy of the electron is 0, electron cannot reaches up to this anode, and that's why at this 4.9 volt, electron decreases suddenly. Means here is a current decreases suddenly, because at this voltage, energy of the electron is transferred to the mercury atom. Means energy of the electron is not sufficient to reach up to the anode, and if the number of electrons cannot reach up to the anode, that's why the current flowing through the circuit decreases, and that's why current decreases, and we call this first dip is occur. This we call it as a dip. Means why actually the up to the 4.8 current increases, but at 4.9 what will happen? The current decreases, because at 4.9 volt there is a inelastic collision, and due to inelastic collision, electron lost its kinetic energy, and that energy is transferred to the mercury vapor atom, and electron cannot reaches up to the cathode, and that's why current decreases. But when we increase this voltage again, means more than 4.9 volt, at that time current again increases, and again at 9.8 volt. Again here is the decrease. Again this process is continue at this point. Again 14.7 volt. Again the current decreases. Means, but you remember that in this situation the peak, and in this situation the peak. Here is the current again decreases in this manner. Why this is? Number of electron lose the energy, and if the accelerated voltage is increased, again that electron starts moving. In addition to this, again the accelerating voltage again increases the speed of electron. Again the number of electron crossing per unit time, that area again increases, and current increases continuously, because of the accelerating voltage is increased, and that's why the peak as compared to the previous one it is more, and again the same situation occur. This is actually the situation. Means at this voltage 4.9 volt, what is the value energy of that electron? 4.9 electron volt. You remember that? Means what is the difference between these two peak? Here is 4.9 and 9.8. Again the difference is 4.9. Again 9.8 and 14.7. Again that is the 4.9. Difference again 4.9. This process is continued. But when we consider this, after considering all these things, the next point, Frank and Hertz measure the wavelength of emitted radiation. Wavelength of emitted radiation means this is actually the electron possess the energy 4.9 electron volt, and when that electron strikes with, that is actually the mercury atom, at that time the electron within that atom jumps from level E1 to level E2, and when it is jumps from back to this state, it emits a radiation, and that radiation frequency is h mu. In case of inelastic collision, energy is transferred from this to this atom, and due to this energy, that electron jumps from one orbit to the next excited state, and it comes back to this ground state. At that time it emits the radiation. Frank and Hertz measured the wavelength of this radiation by using the spectroscopic technique, and that wavelength must be equal to 253 37 angstrom in it. This is the wavelength of emitted radiation measured by Frank and Hertz by spectroscopic technique, and finding the energy for that corresponding wavelength h mu. H multiplied by c upon lambda, that must be equal to 6.63 into 10 raised to minus 34, 3 into 10 raised to 8 speed of light. This is Planck constant, and wavelength is 2537 into 10 raised to minus 10 meter. After solving this energy must be equal to 7.83 joule. 7.83 into 10 raised to minus 19 joule. This is the amount of energy. But when this energy is converted into the electron volt, 7.83 into 10 raised to minus 19 divided by 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19, that energy must be equal to 4.9 electron volt. It means that at 4.9 volt, energy of the electron is 4.9 electron volt. At 4.9 volt, energy of the electron is 4.9 electron volt. And when the wavelength of that emitted radiation is measured, that wavelength is this, and from this wavelength, energy is calculated. What's the conclusion? This is an agreement with the experimental result. This is an agreement with experimental result. And you remember that, and it supports mercury atom has energy levels. Mercury atom has energy levels, and that energy levels are quite sharp and discrete. Energy level of the mercury atom are quite sharp and discrete and cannot exist in intermediate state. In this way, Frank and Hertz experiment supports to the Bohr's atomic model, and it also demonstration of the Frank Hertz experiment. Energy levels exist in an atom, they are in discrete amount and not a continuous. This is all about the Frank Hertz experiment. Today I am stop here. Next time we will see the problems on the chapter. Okay, thank you. सर काढायचा का?